It's no surprise to anyone that mass shootings have become a major problem in American cities. We'll finish 2022 with nearly double the number of mass shootings we experienced in 2018. The shocking part is no longer the mass shooting itself, but the age of the shooters and victims. On December 16th and 17th, there were 5 mass shootings, which for a weekend is a really low number. But in 3 of the 5, all of the victims were under the age of 18. In Atlanta, on the 17th, a 16-year-old, 2 15-year-olds, and a 14-year-old, and an 11-year-old were the 5 victims. The 14 and 16-year-old boys were fatally shot. In Chicago on the 16th, a shooting near a high school led to the deaths of a 14 and 15-year-old boys and injuries to 2 15-year-olds. And in Dallas, also on the 16th, 5 were injured, aged 12 to 17. And if you go back just over 3 weeks to November 25th, there are a total of 10 out of 23 of the mass shootings where all of the victims, or in one case, all but one of the victims, were under the age of 18. And the suspects ranged in age from 15 to 18. The brains of a 14 and 15-year-old are not fully developed, and if they are thinking shooting up a bunch of people is a good way to solve a problem, we're going to have even bigger problems in the future. And with courts barely putting adults in prison anymore, these kids will never really see punishment that they deserve. And if they are charged, they'll be released on their 18th birthday, free to roam the streets and do it again. The 10 mass shootings I mentioned resulted in 11 deaths and 36 injuries. And those 10, done by and to teenagers, resulted in more deaths than the 13 others in that span that were done by and to adults. According to the Fatherless Educational Institute, 72% of all teenage murderers grew up without fathers, and 70% of the kids incarcerated in juvenile facilities grew up in single-parent homes. Support this channel and pick yourself up some original crime-related apparel. Look for the link in the description.